I can't look.
No.
I was looking. Okay. Here we go. Is that
That's our friend Deanna.
is that Deanna?
Yes, it is.
Deanna D?
It is.
Come on.
She watches.
Dee
She watches sometimes. I see her
go
comment.
to the DJ booth and pick up your prize. It'll be available. I will need your mailing address, or I already have your mailing address.
Literally.
I know where you live. All right. Anything happen awesome on the weekend?
So what, you're going to give Deanna, she can look at the shop.
Yeah.
And she can pick a shirt.
Yeah.
Or a hat.
Or a hat.
And.
Or a 6-pack of booch.
Okay.
I think we've dropped off kombucha
Okay.
at
Oh
her
yeah,
house
she does love
more
kombucha.
than once last week.
She orders kombucha. She's a good customer.
What happened this weekend? Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Anything fun?
Did you look outside?
It's super gray. It feels like it's gonna snow again. Rain's good though. We need rain. Oh man, is it my turn to read?
Do you want me to read?
No. I feel it's my duty on the odd days. I've been labeled odd.
Do you feel? I feel blah.
What was
today.
the most exciting?
Do you think it's rain? Ugh,
Do you think it's blah rain?
stupid
No. What's your most exciting thing that happened on the weekend? I can't even think of what happened on the weekend. Was it food related? You had a little conference. I don't know what date it is. 25. Oh man, it's a long one.
I could read half of it.
Most exciting thing.
Stop it with your pressure. So much pressure.
Somebody came over on the driveway. Who was that? That was exciting. I like driveway coffee. Come for a driveway coffee.
No driveway coffee.
You had your thing all weekend.
I know.
And so I was.
locked
What was
my-
your biggest takeaway on your
locked
little
my-
conference? Do you have one big takeaway? You did a Zoom conference?
My friend told me last week that she realized that one of the ways that she can honor God with her life is by learning. And I really liked that. And so I really feel like this weekend, I watched like a conference all weekend on Zoom. And I thought it would be really exhausting, but actually it wasn't. It was actually I felt very alive. And
You watched a video series?
Yeah, I think that's what learning can do. I think that's what God wants to do. He wants to feed our spirit, and so I actually felt really encouraged afterwards. So
That's cool.
yeah, that was what did you say? A highlight, the most exciting thing.
Yeah. And there was no electronical glitches?
No, it was
Computer
fine.
glitches?
I mean, there
That's
was
good.
like some little ones.
That's
but
the worst, is when you start like
I
a Zoom
know.
meeting and all of a sudden it's like starting to glitch at the beginning and you're like, oh
yeah,
no.
the person who was running it was concerned about that. I could tell. But if ever there was like a little glitch, it rectified fairly quickly and
Very good.
felt like we all had a lot of patience.
Speaking of learning and being fed, this is one of the things that we do. We do this as a couple, but then we do this separately as well. And we spend time in prayer and meditation. Super important. We listen to worship music as part of that as well. And what else do you do that gives you spiritual fitness? I do like a listening prayer meditation.
Yeah, I think. Did you list? I think you listed all.
I think
you listed all the things. It's not really fair to
Stillness
list
and
all the
quiet.
things and then ask me.
And then
And what else do you do? No, you listed all the
I'm getting
things.
a master's degree in theological studies at. Very good. All right, so this is loving ourselves unconditionally. Love yourself into health and a good life of your own. Love yourself into relationships that work for you and the other person. Love yourself into peace, happiness, joy, success, and contentment. Love yourself into all that you always wanted. We can stop treating ourselves the way others treated us. If they behaved in a less than healthy, desirable way. If we have learned to see ourselves critically, conditionally, and in a diminishing, punishing way, it's time to stop. Other people treated us that way, but it's even worse to treat ourselves that way now. Loving ourselves may seem foreign, even foolish at times. People may accuse us of being selfish. We don't have to believe them. People who love themselves are truly able to love others and let others love them. People who love themselves and hold themselves in high esteem are those who give the most, contribute the most, and love the most. How do we love ourselves? By forcing it at first, by faking it if necessary, by acting as if, by working as hard at loving and liking ourselves as we have at not liking ourselves. Explore what it means to love yourself. Do things for yourself that reflect compassionate, nurturing self-love. Embrace and love all of yourself, past, present, and future. Forgive yourself quickly and as often as necessary. Encourage yourself. Tell yourself good things about yourself. If we think and believe negative ideas, get them out in the open quickly and honestly so that we can replace those beliefs with better ones or true ones. Pat yourself on the back when necessary. Discipline yourself when necessary. Ask for help from time. Ask for what you need. Sometimes give yourself treats. Do not treat yourself like a packed mule, always pushing and driving harder. Learn to be good to yourself. Choose behaviors with preferable consequences. Treating yourself well is one. Learn to stop your pain, even when it means making difficult decisions. Do not unnecessarily deprive yourself. Sometimes give yourself what you want just because you want it. Stop explaining and justifying yourself. When you make mistakes, let them go. We learn, we grow, and we learn some more. And through it all, we love ourselves. We work at it, then work at it some more. One day, we'll wake up, look in the mirror, and find that loving ourselves has become habitual. We're now living with a person who gives and receives love because that person loves him or herself. Self-love will take hold and become a guiding force in our lives. My prayer for today. Today, I will work at loving myself. I will work as hard at loving myself as I have at not liking myself. Help me let go of self-hate and behaviors that reflect not liking myself. Help me replace those with behaviors that reflect self-love. Today, God, help me hold myself in high self-esteem. Help me know I'm lovable and capable of giving and receiving love. Amen.
I think there's a lot in there.
This is very instructional.
It was very instructional. I was thinking, man, you could...
How to love yourself.
You could really unpack this like sentence by sentence. And I think that one piece that really stood out to me is actually that people who love themselves love other people well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the misconceptions when people are in an unhealthy or a chaotic or a destructive relationship, there's typically one person in the relationship who thinks that they are doing a really good job loving the other person, and they feel really hard done by and very maligned by the other person. And typically, that one person has tried to fix the other person or tried to rescue. They've put out money, they've run interference. And I think that it's a real hard thing to realize I actually haven't done a good job loving that other person like I thought I was doing. I thought I was doing a really good job loving other people.
Well, I think there's
actually wasn't.
A lot of ulterior motives. And once we really understand the truth of the love of God, then we see like our love was always ulterior motives. There was always something that I was trying to get. I remember early recovery going like, if you treated me, or if you treated me the way I treated me, I'd be scared for my life, and I'd probably have to like destroy you before you destroyed me. And it's like I treated myself in such a horrible way that no one could treat me worse than I treated myself. And so really understanding, coming into a relationship that I had to live life on life's terms, God did for me what I couldn't do for myself, and God loved me before I even loved myself. So God poured his love into me, and then I was able to start to love myself, start to realize that my whole life had been, I was loving, but it was all alternative motives. It's what I could get out of you and from you. And if I couldn't, then I wouldn't really have anything to do with you.
And when there's any kind of ulterior motives or manipulation, or which is a strong word, a lot of people get kind of defensive about that word, but the reality is when my motive is to have you help me feel good about myself, I'm manipulating you. And people really pick up on that. People are, and so the dance that starts to happen in those relationships where actually I'm trying to get you in, I think we even see it sometimes in more recent years of our relationship, when I am feeling really insecure and I am going to you and I need you to help me feel better about myself, you react like it's weird. And I'm like, you could just love me better and then I would be okay. And, it's like, you're like, girl, that is so yucky and I cannot fill you. And
so then we would get back into codependent, unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
Because we don't love ourselves.
Yeah.
And we don't know what our worth is. And we continue to go back to these relationships that didn't work over and over and over again.
And when I realized that you actually weren't reacting to me, you were reacting to me basically trying to suck more love out of you so to fill my tank. I thought, I'm an adult.
It's an interesting concept that we have, because the what we've been through is probably what we would never tell anybody else to do. I think the difference is that we had children. We have children and we had a family that we built off of, and we had a relationship for 15 years. But you would never tell any woman in their right mind to go back to him. There's restoration, there's hope. No. I think when there's children involved, there's
even when there's children involved, though, the rate is so low of people that go through what we went through and stay together. Because how hard was it for us to lay down that everything that was between us?
Well, when you look at our lives, it was a train wreck garbage fire, and only God could restore that. And my friend Nick, who's a psychotherapist, he just, when we talk, he looks at us and he's like, I can't believe like you guys are even together. Like that's a miracle. So I think receiving God's love is the best way to actually love ourselves and love other people.
Yeah, and I think women especially have a really, really hard time. I'm gonna say it. Most of the women that I know, they really to fill their love tank, right? Their husband, their boyfriend, whoever it is, fills their love tank, and somehow we need to be okay even when he can't love us well or won't love us well. And the frustrating thing for me in these last years has been like, I think you have loved me so well, and so
But you said last night to me, it's not your job
to make my life okay. It's actually not your job.
Your job to make other people's lives okay.
Yeah, to make other people's lives okay. It's not your job. And what you've become so sensitive to it that, and I feel like it's because you want me to be well and full of joy and life and happiness. And so you could do lots of things, and sometimes you do, to help me be more okay. And then sometimes you're like, girl, I'm just not going there.
I think we can nurture and love each other, but it's not my job to make you
make
okay.
me okay. Yeah.
And it's not your job to make
And
me
sometimes
okay.
I catch myself like pushing you where I'm just like, would you just like do these things and then I'll be okay? And it's actually not true. It's actually not true. And you know it's not true. And you refuse to play the game with me, which is like how frustrating when I'm in those low places. It feels like John could just make this okay. Actually, it's not up to John.
I just make things.
Stop it.
And my prayer to you is that may God fill you with his love and nourish you, that you can be a light and salt and loving to your neighbor. You're not here to fix others, but we can make each other's lives better.
Yeah, we can.
But I'm not here to make your life.
What did you say yesterday? We can be like the givers of gifts.
We can be flower. We can be a bouquet in people's lives.
We can be.
But the bouquet doesn't make your life.
Yeah, I love getting flowers.
All right. Have a good afternoon, and may you be richly blessed.
Did I mention I'm picking up flowers